not doing it now, but maybe she will. I don't know. Huh? But we are very close. So I want to start her on, not driving her. I want to start like she's going to stay. So I walk into her space and just leave. So when she takes her eye off of me, she can still see me now. When she takes her eye off, I head toward hindquarters, I kiss and draw back. But it's easier if I push her, start walking into her space and leave for her to hang out. Because a lot of times when you turn left, you leave her. So I have to walk like I have somewhere to go to keep her attention. Good girl. Good girl. I'm watching her body language. Good girl. So if she allows me to come up and pet her, I will. So I don't know what that was. I didn't know if she shook her head at me. I wasn't sure. So I'm staying behind her, leaving her an open door out here. So when she asks you guys, come over to you, that's good, but that she turned in, but I want to ask her, okay? I'm the one running this, not her. So I don't care.
Yeah, you said the other day.
Yeah, she's running because she felt like she needed to run. All I care about, she does not change direction. So I'm behind her driving her, she has all that. Okay, instead of standing in the middle here, okay, when you put a lot of pressure on the horse and you're in a 60-foot round pen standing in the middle, you're pressing this horse this tight, okay? So that's why with this bigger round pen and me driving her here and letting her have all that instead of standing in the middle, good girl, it doesn't put as much pressure on her. Which is a good thing. You don't want to put so much pressure on a horse that they feel like they have to jump out of the pen. She lets me come up, I do. Remember last time I told you to take 10 minutes or half the time? Much better. Well, I just turn anyway. I always put my tools, my whip, my rope in the faraway hand first and offer out my medicine. I'm heading toward hindquarters. When she comes unstuck, I encourage that by leaving some more. When she stops, I head toward hindquarters again. Good girl. And it doesn't matter which way I go, I just go. Don't limit that. Stop with me. I haven't finished my girl. Girl.
Wow, a little different than the others.
She back off a little bit. I bring the pressure off a little bit. So I'm going to send her off again. I'm saying go away. Don't go away, Dad. Go away. Now head in an area. Whichever one you feel more comfortable with. This can reach them. So I'm going to pick a direction. When I first pick it, I don't care if she goes the wrong way, but once she goes a certain way, I care that she doesn't change. So I want to put it this way, put pressure. If she goes that way, after that, right. So as soon as she goes, you see I let my pressure down. And I will prevent her from changing direction. And normally this close is good, but right with her being so bold, that close is bold. At this juncture, that's very bold. And not in a good way. So I'm saying, hey, get out to the end of that. Get out to the edge of that. So when she passes this gate, I walk over to the gate, what do you do? Come out. Tell her I want to go in that way. If I can just slap this on my leg, I don't have to throw it, okay? If I need to throw it, I can throw it. Now I'm going to ask her to come in. So I have all this pressure on. So in order for her to come in, I can't just do this, okay? Well, I could. But a lot of times you can't just stand there and take pressure off that like that. What I do is come back and there's a lot of pressure. Remember, I couldn't get her to come in 2 days ago when I took a lot of pressure off like this. Okay? And now she's willing to when I just stop. Drive, have this rope on the ground. Come back here. Kiss and draw back. And she needs to find me. I like to start them online first because if somebody else did it with, there's some people, some horses think they just need to run around in circles.
Right.
And I want her to come to me when she's, to make it stop. So. I just do that twice before I turn her loose. It's good, like if you hear something gets distracted over there, it's a good time to ask her to pay attention. Now I take the rope off quietly. And instead of just walking away, I'm going to walk into her. Because if I just walk away, it's harder for them to follow. But if I push her out of my way and just leave, it's easier. So I'm just going to push her out of my way and start walking away. I'd like her to stay as long as possible so she sees that hanging with is nicer than being driven. So the first few times push to the right before I ever go left. If she gets too far ahead, that's when I peel off to the right, to the left, because I don't want to get kicked. So here I'm going to kiss and draw back. Before I drive, she doesn't pay me no mind.
Yep.
Now,
Just going to see her love-hate relationship friend.
when she passes you, I'm going to change her direction by coming over you. And then I'm going to ask her to come in. By drawing back and taking the pressure off. You don't pay me no mind.
Yep.
I'm on driver 2 and 2. Yeah. If she passes you, I'm going to change her direction. Passes you. Yeah. So after the second lap, I'm going to give her a chance to come in again. I have a lot of pressure on. I need to take a lot off. This little Morgan horse got kicked out of his boarding facility. He
is aggressive toward people and horses. I lay the line on the ground so I can gravitate toward the hind end so I can kiss and draw back and let the horse know when I kiss that I want you to come find me. So I start him on line. This is his very first time with me join up with him, round penning him. So after I've had him turn and face a couple times, and I turn him loose and always walk into the right. If I hook left first time, they can just leave. Where if I push them to the right, then I have their feet moving. And my rule is, if you're not looking, you're leaving. Again, I don't want to just put them in the round pen and start running their legs off. Too many horses have been pushed through round pens like that, driven way too hard, way too long. I don't want to break their spirit. I do want them to know who the herd leader is. I kicked at him just to tell him to back up in horse language, like a dominant mare. Since he's an assertive, aggressive horse, I don't want them to think that they're pushing me. A dominant horse will push all the others with his nose. And so that's why I throw a kick. You're not pushing me, you're following me, like the queen. So that's why if they get too close, I'll throw a mare kick at them, either with my own feet or with the stick. So I'm just letting him enjoy reward of following and hanging out, but then I have to tell him to leave. But I never want him to go off crazy. I just want him to leave. And this guy, he's got a lot of attitude, so when I send him off, he's really pissy about it. Again, but he has to know who herd leader is. He was pushing around a whole herd of horses and was very aggressive to him, so they had to separate him. And he'd come at you when you tried to lunge him, Anyways, he did really well here and went on to be a really nice horse and changed his unruly attitude. So I'm telling him where I want him to go, put pressure until he leaves off. And it was going to be the front video, that's why I had the text on there. But so I'm just controlling his direction, staying behind him. He's given me the hoof, that's fine, he's voicing his opinion there. And then I give him all day to make this change, so I don't jump in front of him ever. So when I'm staying behind him, I'll pick a focal point, either the gate that he's passing now or the bridge in the back. And as he passes that gate, then I come to the other side and he's going to come out there. And then draw him in. So I draw back, and if he doesn't take that opportunity to come in, so right there he did, and we can rest, we can hang out. If he doesn't take that opportunity to come in, then we can drive him more. But I like to let him hang out a little bit, drive him off, because I don't just want them running around. I want to let him see that it's not bad hanging out, and that if you do hang out with me, you're not going to have to do too much work. It's going to be a lot easier getting rubbed on and hanging out and staying with me than it is to work. So when you head toward hindquarters, you want to get way out of kicking distance. When we head toward hindquarters, it's if they won't continue to follow, it gets your feet unstuck. And so when you pass behind that blind spot, when you walk behind, if the horse doesn't turn and find you, that's when I kiss and draw back, tell him to come find me, and if he doesn't, then I drive him. Now I'm telling him to go the other way. Staying behind him, that gives him a huge open door in which to go forward. I don't want to cut him off. I don't want to walk up in front of that drive line, in front of his withers, and cut him off. So staying behind him there, and then when he passes the gate, Well, I'm not going to change him there, actually. Okay, maybe the bridge. When he passes the bridge, walk to the bridge, switch the whip hand, let him know I'm there, give him all day to make that turn. Again, now get behind him so he has the entire round pen. There's an open door there. Go to the bridge, switch hands, then that gives him all day to see me coming. If he doesn't, if he comes running in and doesn't make that change, then I'll open that door off the pen. I'll see if it comes up where I can explain that. If they're running right into you and they're not gonna change that direction, you want to make a big gap between you and the horse and let him go through so he doesn't hit his legs. Might come up where he's doing that. And then once they go through that big gap, then I'll spank them through for not turning around, because you don't want to get run over and you don't want to jump in front of them. I had that surcingle on because I was going to ground drive him, so that's why that was on. So I'm just making big circles. So right here he leaves off, I kiss and draw back, give him one more chance, and he says nope. So I think it's going to come up where he's going to ignore when I ask him to change and just keep coming. Woohoo! Maybe this next lap around. No, not yet. So I'm drawing back. So he says no. So right there, after he went by, I spanked behind him. So fresh. And I'll do 2 laps one way and 2 the other, and then ask him to come in. I don't want him just running around. I want to give him the opportunity to stop it by inviting them to come in. They have to come in respectfully. If they're coming in trotting, I got to slow them down right before they get to me. And if they don't slow down, then send them off. They've got to come in with a little humility. Sometimes bobbing their head up and down, just coming in slower, licking and chewing. But yeah, he thinks he's all that, so he needs a lot of humility. In the next video, I'm explaining to a client how to do the join up with her horse, and her pen is a lot smaller. And he's off the track thoroughbred. Every horse is different. And then you can go and pet his nose. So walk up to him, but you're reading him. Just give him a rub, and then leave him. Walk like you got to get somewhere. You got to move. Yep, there you go. When you move, that keeps his attention.
If he tries to come near me.
Well, it's fine if he's being nice, but if he's being fresh, you drive him off. Because we want him to hang out with us respectfully, okay? So he's respectful right now. His ears are back and forth. He's not being rude. He's keeping you in his eye. So now you want to get in the middle of the pen, and you want to send him, but you want to send him softly. So you want to point the direction you want him to go, but you got to get the whip in the other hand. Look where you want him to go. Yes, now tap the ground. And then quiet with your H. Just stay behind him. Look where you want him to go. Stay behind him. And how about changing his direction? So when he passes a certain place, yes, look and let him know you're there. Now you change his direction. So let him know you need him to change. So you got to get the whip in the other hand. Look where you want him to go. Yes, tap the ground. There, stop tapping. All right, good. Stay behind him. Yep. Now kiss and draw back. Trot backwards. Trot backwards. So just change his direction. Remember, come to the back of the pen and get his attention. There you go. Now draw back.
So that just blocking his path there just got his attention. Okay, now just walk up to him like you're gonna pet him, but read him.
This mare, this is a very old video, but this mare was very assertive, a little aggressive if you told her what to do, if you told her to lunge or to back up. Or anyways, this was when she first came here, and she came here for a little bit of training and board mostly. And but she is a very, very assertive mare, and she was hard to catch. So by doing the join up or the round penning, whatever you want to call it, hooking on, we can teach a horse not to be hard to catch. So I do this. This horse, she knows the minute that halter comes near, she goes, I'm not going to put my head towards you. And she's shaking her head like she's going to be in big trouble, because she's probably been in big trouble. I know she has as a youngster, and she was trouble for the vets, and I think they twisted her ear and did all kind of stuff to manage her. So yeah, she had some attitude, and of course she's a nice girl now. But when people can't catch a horse, they'll do tricky stuff and they'll grab at them, and the horse knows it. So she really doesn't want me to catch her, and I do this rubbing motion like, hey, this is petting. I'll do that for a horse that doesn't want me to get up to him. And I'm not going to chase her head, because if her head goes out like she's leaving, the buck comes really quickly, and I don't want to put myself at risk. So I'm telling them, hey, stick your head in here. At the very least, don't pull your head away from me, because I don't want to get kicked when they're running off, because they don't want to be caught. But so I just advance and retreat. My energy's way down when I'm going to catch. I want her to learn to drop her head, so I'll put pressure behind her pole going forward and teach her to drop her head, because it's just a resistance that she had, and once we made that resistance go away to haltering and bridling, she became a lot more agreeable about everything. So I'm staying behind her there, telling her don't change direction. Then I go to the gate, come over here, gives her all day to make that change, and staying behind her. Same thing, she has all day to make that change, and I'm going to draw back till I can't draw back anymore. She says no, so I'm going to drive her off again. Draw back and drive. So I say, if you're not looking, whoops, if you're not looking, you're leaving. Again, I'm trying to take the pressure off and draw her to me, and you know, she in the beginning was just looking for any opportunity to go, I'm leaving. So I'm serpentining here so I can get up to her little by little, and when her head goes away like that, I want to draw back and try to avoid her leaving, so I can avoid driving her in the round pen. Again, staying behind her, changing direction, go the other side. The minute she changes, I take that pressure down. I'm asking her to come in, but she was having none of it. So usually I'll do one lap and then 2 and 2, but right there I was staying at the back of the pen. So instead of doing it the other way, looking at a focal point, I can just stay at the back of the pen and switch and switch and switch, to trying to put more pressure on to get them to stop running around. Again, I'd rather them to come in right away when I first ask, but of course a horse that has been toying with people and playing hard to catch, she thinks she's having her way with me and saying you can't catch me. And no, I can't catch her. She's faster than me, but I can change her direction. I can try as best as I can to control her direction. So she'll get a different mindset of, gosh, why am I working so hard on not being caught? And instead try to get her to work with me. And after these early episodes with her, she was no longer hard to catch. Just kiss and draw back, and she'd be caught. But until they understand this, which, right now in her mindset is, I'm outrunning you. You can't catch me. Nah. Because I know when you catch me, that means work. Every time it ends the same, meaning they're going to get caught and they're not going to get the relief from running off. Then they're just going to come in, when you kiss and draw back. The kiss is just an attention getter. It's one cluck. Kiss and draw back. And if they don't, you drive. So when I'm walking up, I'm watching her feet to where if she backs up, I wouldn't keep coming. But she didn't, so I was able to come up to her and pet her. And so again, I'm just demonstrating the catch again. That I draw her head to me and get her in the habit of keeping her head to me instead of tipping it to the right like she's going to leave. So again, she leaves off. She thinks, ha, you didn't catch me. I'm just going to prove to her again that when I kiss and draw back, if you don't come face me, I'm going to drive you. I'm the one in the driver's seat here. It's not you being hard to catch. From now on, if you're hard to catch, you're going to have to work. And when you're easy to catch and don't take your head out to the right, I'm going to pet you, and I'm never going to grab at you. I'm never going to make a furtive movement at your face, ever. So that's another catch right there. And she's going, huh? So I walk up, I'm watching her feet, watching her head. If it goes out to the right like it did, I draw back, get that head pointed to me. So I was just demonstrating there. If I rushed her and then she didn't leave, it was funny. That's what a lot of people do, is they rush that head and then they leave, and then the feet come flailing in your face. So I don't ever rush that head. I always want to pet them at the shoulder first, and then pet their head and then put the halter on. And again, no more, you can't catch me, I'm going to outrun you, Sometimes if I was in a hurry and I need to catch them, before this was really solid, I might put my right hand under their jowl and then just tip their cheek to me and put the halter on. Because like I said, I don't want to grab at their head. A horse that is used to running away, when you're trying to catch them, if you take that hand at them, they're too quickly, they're just going to run off. So I don't know if you can understand what I'm saying or doing, but like I said, this mare just come here and she was in the habit of running away when you went to put that halter on, and being fresh when she was loose. And I'm always reading them, advance and retreat, show them they got to be good with not just my hand, but the halter and whatever I'm using, whether it's a lariat rope or carrot stick. So I'm putting the rope over a pole. Again, she's very resistant to dropping her head. Most people just let a horse be high-headed. I want every horse to drop their head while I put the halter on. I shouldn't have to have my arms over my shoulders like they are now to put a halter on. So if I put that rope over the behind her ears and get her to drop with the pressure of the rope, then eventually it would just be the pressure of my right hand. And here I'm using fingernails and then rubbing her. just my right hand pressure dropping that head. And at first I might have to use my fingernails and their head might go up, but that rope over the pole, I can grab it and drop the head. So she got much better than this after going forward, and is a very good girl. But that was a huge resistance, that head drop. So this horse had never had this done before either. He just came in for training. He was already well trained, but training the owner to be with him. And he didn't do any, like, quote, national horsemanship type stuff. So we're round penning here. She did have a hard time catching him at the other barn where she had him, and it was huge, couple of acres. Sorry about the dog. So yeah, he was being hard to catch in a huge pasture with, you know, probably 15 horses, and I was able to do it in a big pasture. A lot harder. Anyhow, so pressure, stand behind him. When I drive him, never jump it in front. Once he passes a focal point, you know, then I'll change him. And here I'm taking the pressure off, and gives me a look. This is my first time and last. A lot of times I go out one time. Horse is hard to catch. This was a show horse. That was coming after, I think, charging people. And just being fresh. He was adapting well to his run-in situation.
Right here, just draw back.
I like to do this with every horse. It just really gets them engaged.
Right, left, it doesn't
Doing
matter.
it properly without running them too much.
So as long as he's looking,
You
that's
know,
all
you
he
don't
has
want
to
to run
do.
them in mindless circles. You don't want them to hate being around pen. You don't need a round pen. This is his pasture. You can use a square pen. You know, depends on the horse how much you can push or if you can stay safe. You don't want them to feel like trapped in a really small area.
When he passes you, I'm going to change his direction.
Average time,
Okay, so he's
5
gone.
to 20 minutes
Come over here.
for a horse that's never been
The minute he makes a change,
round penned before. Ones that have
the minute he makes
done
a change,
wrong,
my energy's down.
that can be harder.
I just need to stay behind him. Give him that open door. Passes you, change, go over to you, let him know I'm coming this way. I'll do one more lap. start leaving again.
Here's a example. This is my first time and last round penning this horse. He tried to break through the gate, put his head up over the top, looked like he was gonna run out. Pawing. This horse had kicked at my face earlier when he was tied, when I asked him to push over. And this is an example of a horse that's been round penned wrong. I never saw it. I know where he came from. There's a round pen with the sides, and he just feels trapped in here and had his head pointed out the pen the whole time. So I stopped it. I didn't want to push him out.
Driving him off. I want him to appreciate hanging out is a good thing. He gets rubbed on. He avoids having to do much work. So instead of round penning him and starting off just running the round pen willy-nilly, I like him to appreciate if he hangs out with me, he doesn't have to work a lot. Now I'm going to send him off, and I'm going to send him off gently as I can. I don't want him to run around crazy. I don't want his brain to check out. So as soon as he starts to leave, I take the pressure off. I'll add it again. But I want to use very light pressure. Stay behind him. Do all that. I may throw him a kick like this. Because some horses that are aggressive, if you're out in front of them a lot, I mean that the herd leader, a lot of trainers talk about the herd leader is supposed to be out in front and the horse following. But in our world, a lot of times an aggressive horse can drive another horse. Like my horse, he gets behind my other horse with his head and he'll go, okay, he'll go like this, go, and bite him in the butt, okay? And that's why sometimes when a horse is following behind, I may go like a boss mare, slow down, okay? I'm not being mean, I'm getting respect. water. I'm not complaining because I have no gloves on. That's awesome.